As identity politics continues to infect all things, the Atlantic Monthly ran a piece on yesterday's eclipse with this sentence. It had been dubbed the Great American Eclipse, and along most of its path, there live almost no black people. So an astronomical event is now a marker of white power. Last night, 12 Cleveland Browns players kneeled during the national anthem, and that's their right. But maybe their team should try standing up and having a winning season for a change instead of dumping more politics into a dying game. Viewership is down. You wonder why? You come to watch you play, not to posture. Fact is, in terms of equality, the country's always improving. It ain't perfect, but it's the best thing going. But those who stoke the divide seem seduced by the attention that they get. And if you ease that conflict, so goes their importance. In a podcast out today, Al Sharpton said this.
We're in a poisonous atmosphere that is being increased by the President of the United States. It's like turning on gas in a room. Any match could lead to an explosion.
A match, an explosion. Reminds me, 1995, Sharpton leading a protest over an eviction of a black-owned store. Back then, Sharpton said, "We will not stand by and allow them to move this brother so that some white interloper, a Jew, can expand his business." Shortly after, one protester shot some customers, set the store on fire, killing 7 employees. So, Al, you're right. Any match could lead to an explosion. That matches you in 3/4 of today's media. All right, we were going to talk about this story, but this story came through. It was broken by Clay Travis, right? Clay?
Clay Travis.
This is such an unbelievable story that we don't believe it, but it's true. According to fans, MSNBC decided to pull...
ESPN.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
Well, so Clay Travis makes fun of him and calls him MS-ESPN.
Got it. ESPN decided to pull an Asian college football announcer named Robert Lee off the William and Mary at University of Virginia college football game because they were concerned that having an Asian football announcer named Robert Lee would be offensive to some viewers because Robert Lee sounds an awful lot like... So anyway, we went to check this out because this is hard. It's like an onion story. ESPN they said they issued a release, and they're very serious about this. We collectively made the decision with Robert to switch games as the tragic events in Charlottesville were unfolding, simply because of the coincidence of his name. In that moment, it felt right to all parties. It's a shame that this is even a topic of conversation. And we regret who calls play-by-play, and we regret that who calls play-by-play for a football game has become an issue. But how did it become an issue?
They made it an issue.
It's like pulling Al Michaels from Monday Night Football because there was a shooting in a Michaels.
Yes.
It makes no sense. This is so outrageous.
And this poor, and this guy, look at what they're doing to him.
I know, but okay, Juan, is this reaching hysteria levels? I mean,
it's absurd. It's absurd. To talk you down.
Yeah, I mean,
you're throwing yourself on the desk.
It's the most bizarre story.
I know. I'm still thinking it can't be true, but we do have a response from ESPN.
Asian American,
it's absurd that they would decide that. I mean, it's so disconnected. But the reality is that they're responding to what they see as racial tension in the society and Robert E. Lee and
really
the statues.
overthinking things.
But that's what I think.
Think about how many names. You would have to be. Certain people would have to just not come to work.
I would have to have an emergency meeting if Robert E. Lee was actually doing the play-by-play. That's how on the fence, because that's his job.
Yeah.
This is absolutely insane. But that's the insanity of ESPN right now. If they're not firing you, they're suspending you. That's what's happening over there.
They're petrified. They're just like petrified rock. That's what they are. They just don't even know what they're doing. They're super reactive to any kind of thing that's happening, and now they're making it actually worse, I think.
Right. Well, they're very sensitive, Kimberly, because I think that they feel like the whole country's raw at the moment.
The media.
That I don't disagree with, but they're not helping it. I think they're just amplifying it to the point where it's just making it awkward. It feels to me like they're just very destabilized and uncertain of their identity, and they're afraid the way, management and the way the wind blows. Like, oh my God, okay.
Well, I mean, the
panic attack, send a memo, delete Robert E. Lee.
Well, it's like,
what is his
I hesitate to say that.
I don't know. We don't know. It's just Robert Lee. He's Asian American, and now he's been reassigned. He'll be going to Pittsburgh, and he will be, let's see, the Youngstown State game.
Can I argue with Gregory, though, on your memo? Because to me, the reality is that someone like you said, don't kneel down. Now, I happen to think that
I said it's their right.
It's their right.
Actually,
I agree with that.
I think it's fun. I think I'd rather have that than violence, definitely.
Oh,
yeah. Why is that the choice?
But the thing I wanted to disagree with was that you see people saying that basically this is white identity politics at play because, guess what? If you don't do what I say, says President Trump, you'll get a tweet from the NFL owners, and we don't want Colin Kaepernick in. And I'm thinking, what kind of craziness is that?
I don't even know I don't know what you're linking everything to. I don't get it.
That you have, you know, Greg and I often talk about identity politics becoming more prominent in American political life. And most often we talk about it in terms of things like Black Lives Matter or racial sensitivities like the ESPN thing we're talking about going overboard, but that's far overboard. But I think there's also a reality, Brian, that you have someone like President Trump saying, owners don't want to get a tweet from me about Colin Kaepernick, and it results in lots of people, including those players who are growing in numbers in their protests, saying, why is Colin Kaepernick being blackballed by the NFL?
Well, yeah, it's got a couple of things going on. They're picking up what Colin Kaepernick did last year, and that's take a seat during the national anthem, because they want to show that they're not happy with the country. I just think that if they're not happy with the country and you want to grab a picket, you know, and grab a sign and march before or after, that's one thing. If Greg is not happy with the country and got up right now and started marching around the table, I should not accept that behavior.
I could march under the table.
Right, which would be a problem.
Yeah, again, it would be distracting. Great limbo march.
It would destroy the overhead shot that we're known for.
No, but no, it would be like I used the analogy before. It'd be like me all of a sudden deciding I want to play football during the 5 while you guys are trying to do a show.
It's your right.
Yeah, it's my right. No, but I think that's the thing.
They're saying they're praying, that they respect the anthem.
Pray after the anthem.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir over here.
Really? I think you kind of agree with me.
I do agree with you.
And that's rare because most people don't agree with you, Brian. You're way outside the mainstream.
Yeah, I really don't know how to handle this.
No, you're just way outside. That's why we keep you on early in the morning. Right. Most of the people are half asleep when you're talking.
Right, but the thing is, it is your decision.
It is my decision.
Gutfeld runs the network.
And I'm reviewing your career right here.
Is that my file?
This is your file.
Look how thick it is. It's a little thin.
And you know where Gutfeld came from?
Not really.
ESPN management.
Oh, fantastic. There you go.
Last